Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Ramon Monegal. I've never done a review from this. They're a niche fragrance house based out of, I believe, Barcelona, Spain. It is none other than Cuirelle. Here is the presentation. Now, I actually purchased this one from a store called Twisted Lily. It's a brand new store, fragrance store, niche fragrance store that opened up near the Atlantic City terminal in Brooklyn, New York, which is kind of a big thing just because it's kind of, I guess you could say, the literal kind of like transition that you can kind of see that Brooklyn is becoming a lot more affluent. I mean, it's always been becoming more affluent, but that area in particular really symbolizes how far it's actually come. So I purchased this one, from Twisted Lily, and actually entered me into a contest where I happened to win a whole bunch of other fragrances from it. But I sniffed the whole line of Ramon Monegal, and I actually picked this one out as the one that I would absolutely like and love, and went with it. So Cuirelle. I was actually looking for a leather fragrance, and that's what led me to this, and I picked it out. So the fragrance was released in the year 2011. The perfumer is Ramon Monegal, and the price, this is actually a 50 milliliter. Now this is just the I guess you could say the box for it, but I keep it with it because it's a solid plastic thing. It just twists off, and it's a nice little storage thing. So it twists off, and you're presented with the actual fragrance itself. Now be careful when taking it out, because a lot of people tend to grab it by the top, and when you grab it by the top, especially if you pull it fast, it can come a little unhinged, and you might be a little bit surprised by it. But the actual bottle itself, very heavy, very sturdy, very well particularly designed. It says Cuirelle on the side right here. Other than that, it kind of has this design and shape, and the cap kind of comes off and lifts off. It's very heavy, very sturdy, and it says Ramon Monegal in Barcelona at the top. So I like the design a lot. It's very well thought out, well done, and I just keep the case and everything along with it. Now, again, 2011. With that, let's go ahead and get into the notes of the actual fragrance. The notes consist of olibanum, Indian patchouli leaf, bourbon vetiver, Virginian cedar, cinnamon, and beeswax. So very, very simple notes that you can see from it. There really isn't much to the actual notes. Now what you get when it gets into the actual smell, you're also going to notice something that I said earlier. I said I was looking for a leather fragrance, and I picked this one out. But out of all those notes that I just read, you didn't hear a single leather note. This is supposed to be their leather interpretation of what they would want leather to actually smell like. I forgot what the actual words of, but it still is the leather interpretation, not actual leather. But it smells like leather. So what you get when you first spray it, you get something that has a lot of incense in the very front of it, a lot of honey, and a lot of, what's the third note that I'm thinking of? Has a boozy type of a feel to it. And that's what you get when you first spray it, and it's going to be on your skin for about 10 minutes. But it starts to dry down very quickly. And it starts to get replaced with what smells like lipsticky, Play-Doh-y. I want to say think like Dior Homme Intense, in that it catches you off guard in how it smells like that, lipstick, Play-Doh-y type of a smell. It's not the exact same smell, definitely not, but it still has a lipsticky, Play-Doh-y type of a vibe to it. As it dries down, that's when you begin to get a little bit more of a leather type of a scent. Now, the leather type of scent, to me, is actually absolutely beautiful. It's very smooth. It still has a boozy sort of a tinge to it, and it has a patchouli tinge to it as well, like a woody patchouli tinge that kind of comes up and remains in it. But overall, throughout the fragrance, what you're going to get is that leathery tinge with a Play-Doh-y, lipsticky type of a vibe, along with that patchouli kind of bringing it up. The honey doesn't really stay on my skin. That honey type of smell doesn't stay on my skin. There is a lot of people who say that it smells like beeswax a little bit, and I haven't smelled beeswax, so unfortunately I can't say that it smells like beeswax. But I think if I get the opportunity to smell beeswax, I might change my mind on what this actually smells like a little bit more specifically. But again, I get a very nice, smooth, leathery scent, a little bit of Play-Doh-y type of a vibe that kind of reminds me of Dior Homme Intense, and the fragrance really does remind me of a leather Dior Homme Intense, if you will. That's kind of layman's terms, I guess you could say, and put it if people are really looking and trying to think and visualize what they're actually smelling. And that's really what I get when I smell Cuirelle from Ramon Monegal. Now, spray-wise, I generally go about 2 sprays. This is a fragrance that can get very cloying very quickly if you spray too much of it on you. It's going to be one that you're going to smell constantly. You don't really ever get olfactory fatigue from this one, so your nose never really gets tired of it and you never really start to ignore it. It's going to be there front and center the entire time. So it's one that you really want to be careful on with the sprays. For the occasion, I think this is a perfect date, night out fragrance, clubbing fragrance. This is definitely high up on my list in terms of those type of scenarios. I think it's actually perfectly suited for those scenarios because of the strength of its performance and because of the way it actually smells and comes off. I think it's perfect for those scenarios. Season wise, I say this is best in fall and winter, although you can wear it on warmer nights. Basically when it starts to get in the summer when it's nighttime, or in the spring when it's nighttime, I think it would be perfectly fine for this. Just be careful on the sprays. You don't want to get too cloying with this one. Age wise, it's a little bit more of a mature fragrance, and I still hold that temptation. So I would say anyone out of college. That's just my opinion. Again, take with it what you will. If you're younger or anything like that, feel free, give it a whirl. But I definitely think this is a little bit more of a mature scent. And for the performance, I get 12 plus hours on this one. Projection is great. The sillage, on the other hand, is not so good. It's a below average. In other words, sillage, for those of you who don't know, is your scent trail. It's not going to leave a very big scent trail behind you. It's going to project well, but it's not going to stick around in the air a long time after you've been gone. So, as with all fragrances, I took this one to Times Square, had 100 different people smell it, and the results were 65 people liked it. Of the people who liked it, they said it was sexy, masculine, and unique. 20 people disliked it. Of the people who disliked it, they said that it was masculine, they said that it was feminine, and they said that it had too much of a lipsticky type of a smell. So as you can see, there were two sides of a coin. I think it's definitely a unisex fragrance that can be worn by both men and women. A lot of people classify it more as a masculine scent, but it definitely is a scent that kind of swings both ways, and I suspect that's because of the lipsticky type of a vibe that's coming from it. So again, think to your own intents. Think to your own intents when I'm saying that unisex lipsticky type of a vibe. And 15 people said that it was neutral, right? So, if I'm to give this a rating, I give this a rating of a 9 out of 10. And I give it a 9 out of 10 because I love the fragrance, simply put. I think it's perfect for, those night out scenarios, and it is unique enough that you're not going to smell like any other people. Even people who wear Dior Intense, it's going to have a nice little different tinge to it. You might want to one reason to stay away from this one, obviously, is because of the price. It's $185 for 50 milliliters, and that's the only size that I've actually seen it in. Another reason to stay away from it is I don't think it's very versatile. I think it's something nice to have in your collection after you've built up a collection of items that are, more suited to other circumstances, but it's not a fragrance that I would base my whole collection off of, and therefore you really need other fragrances to I would say, round out your collection a little bit more. So it's not versatile. That's the basic bottom line that I'm actually trying to say. All right? But other than that, it's got great performance. It smells unique. It smells great. It's my type of a leather type of a fragrance, and it really has a sexiness to it that really kind of suits my personality and the way that I like to depict it off of. It's not that loud, it's not too loud, and you can really control it with the sprays. Okay? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, leave me a message, send me a note, do whatever you gotta do. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.